Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It's another edition of the BU podcast. Remember, you can catch the podcast on any streaming platform that gives you podcasts. That'd be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you catch a podcast, you'll find the BU podcast. You can also find me on Instagram at the underscore BEU podcast on Instagram. All right. And you can also find me on YouTube too. I haven't updated there recently, but I plan on doing that when I can make the time. Editing those videos takes some time, and I got a son and a wife, and I got a whole lot of other stuff going on as well too. But there are videos on the YouTube of the BU podcast. Also, always remember, I'm always rocking my man's brand down in Omaha, Nebraska. Shannon Teamer. I am better than me. I am better than me. You can find them on Instagram at I am better than me on Instagram. And also buy some of his merchandise. You know what I'm saying? Gear up for success. Exclusive I am better than me merchandise is a tangible reminder of your commitment to personal growth. Grab some swag and let the world know you're on the journey to becoming the best version of yourself. www.iambetterthanme.com. Go grab a sweater, a t-shirt, whatever you like. Show the world that you're trying to be better than yourself every single day. Right on. So I got a special guest here with me today. We did a podcast, and I think the last video might still be on YouTube some time ago, but I wanted to have her on again to interview and speak with her about her journey, you know, being a comedian. Not only being a comedian, a speaker, an actress, all that good stuff. But not only that, she's doing it in a foreign country as a foreign citizen, making moves, big moves at that. I have a lot of respect for that. And she's dope. I believe her story is dope. Uh, we might have some laughs during this interview. Y'all was well too. So I would like to introduce Miss Kilara. How are you doing?
Yo, yo, what's up? Woohoo! I'm so sick.
Yes. How,
And
how are you?
I'm
How are
so
you doing?
fine.
Oh,
Sick
I
in
was, I
my
was like,
mind. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm saying, I'm like, I feel really good. Like, and little bad as I thought, like, you came on, gave me time while you was sick. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah,
I'm
it's
back.
good to have you on again. Yes, yeah, it's good to have you on again. How have you
Mm,
been? I mean, how have you been overall? I think you said it's been now what, a year and a half that you've been living in the United States, right?
hmm Yeah, everything is really cool, and a lot of things happen. You
Yeah,
know, not only good things, but interesting things too.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I learned a lot, and still I love New York and I love the States, and I really enjoy my new journey here. And
yeah,
yeah, I'm getting settled down a little bit, and then my comedy wise, I get more gigs, and I travel a lot, and yeah. Uh, I just learned I would never take Spirit Airlines. Finally, that's my life lesson. So, wow,
I hear
I
you
like
there, sister.
Spirit Airlines.
I hear you there. Well, that's
Wow,
good to hear that
too
you
many
you're
things
getting nice and settled.
happen.
That you're getting nice and settled, getting more gigs,
Mhm,
to get out there and do what it is that you love, which
mhm,
is your comedy. Um, which is how I found Kirara. It was a long time ago on Instagram, and a friend of mine in Japan shared one of your videos with me, and you were talking about HBCUs. You were pouring in front of black crowds. I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "I ain't never seen nothing like this." So
thank
that
you.
that prompted me to immediately reach out to you and want to talk to you about that. So before we even get into that aspect of
Mhm,
everything,
mhm,
um, just how did you find comedy and want to get into that? Because like I said, first of all, like just your personality, who you are, is just much in your style economy. A comedy is just much different than the average Japanese woman that does comedy in Japan. If anybody seen comedy or seen Japanese comedy, they use like variety shows. It's like very slapstick sometimes, and it's some of the stuff is funny. Like some comedians that I see in Japan, like I like Sky Toka, but like some it just depends on your taste. But like you as a Japanese woman and what you're bringing to the table with your style, like what made you want to start that, and like why did you want to start that?
Okay. It was interesting that you mentioned about Japanese comedy too, but actually, I started as a Japanese style comedian at first, because I didn't know anything else when I was kid,
Mm, mm,
And when I was kid, I really liked a Japanese male comedian from a duo called Tunnels, and they were superstar. And actually, now I love both of them, but especially at the time, I really like Noritake Kinashi, which is kind of Japanese comedy duo is consists of a stupid guy and a smart guy in many cases, and that his role was a little bit stupid guy side, but
mm,
their style was a little bit different from Manzai too.
mm,
So, anyways, I loved him since when I was kid, and maybe already 10 years when I was 10 years old or 8 years old, I already decided to be comedian in the future. So my mindset had been I'm a comedian all the time. So that's how I got interested in being comedian. And as you mentioned, I studied abroad at HBCU, and my joke about HBCU life went viral maybe just 1 year ago.
mm,
And during that time, I went to Essence Music Festival in New Orleans, and I saw
mm.
Chris Rock live, and I got fascinated. It was so, it was on fire. And I was like, wow, I really want to do this stand up comedy. But
Yeah.
at the time, my English was much worse than now. So I
Mm,
didn't get his jokes 100%, but the style was totally different from Japanese comedy. And I was like,
mm,
wow, I really want to do this at some point in my life. But, anyways, once I came back to Japan, totally by coincidence, I was casted by a Japanese comedy group, which is also a little bit different from American style, like improv or sketch group. A little bit different, but
yeah.
anyways, I was casted in a group,
Yeah.
and well, like after 3 months, I was on the very famous Japanese TV comedy show at the time, and it was like, oh my god, I'm genius! I totally misunderstood my talent.
Yeah.
I, overwhelmingly misjudged by misjudged my talent at the time. But anyways, I
Okay.
felt like, wow, it's universe, and it's my destiny to be comedian. See? And then I started my comedy career as a Japanese style comedian for several years. But I had been curious about stand-up comedy too. And you know, as a Japanese female comedians, or the industry of Japanese female comedians, I felt something weird or different from what I really wanted to do. So, and then finally reach out to stand up comedy group in Japan, and I started practicing at open mics, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
now I'm here. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a beautiful thing, man. Like, how did your parents take that? Like, how did your family take that? Like, I'm about to do comedy, and not only am I gonna do comedy, I'm not doing it here in Japan. I'm going to New York to pursue my life and do my thing and be a comedian in New York City.
Okay,
How does it?
they never recognize me as a human being.
What?
They don't treat me like human being.
It was like that?
Yeah. My
Like,
parents, especially my mom, is Godzilla. So Godzilla mom. So oh my god. Oh my god.
so it was like, okay, so take like if you don't mind, like take me through it, like just like you told them. So like right at that point, like what was the atmosphere? Like Funkiwa, like like what happened? Like right at that point, you was like, I'm doing comedy. Your mom, what was she like?
Fire, fire. Crash, crash,
She just
crash.
blew. She just blew flat fire all over it.
Godzilla, yeah. Yeah.
Man, how did that make you feel? Like, were you just did you did it discourage you any, or did you were like, all right, well at least I told you I'm out. Like, like
Yeah.
how that's how it was.
Yeah. And actually, it's happened a lot. Every time in my life, it's not only about comedy. Everything
Yeah,
about my decision or my choice
yeah,
uh, made her feel very unhappy.
mm,
She never liked my choice or my decision
yeah,
in my life. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's what I expected. So she's so old school, and
mm, mm,
yeah,
mm.
I don't care.
Hey, two snaps and a round of applause for that. Like, I respect that. You know, like I feel like you definitely still respect your mom as a mom, but the fact that you kind of separated that with the fact of like, yo, like I understand you disagree with this, but this is what I enjoy doing. I want to make something out of this.
Hmm.
If you want to reach out, I'm here, but I'm going to New York.
Yeah.
Peace. Like that takes a lot, man. And like I think I really respect that because I think that takes a lot uh being Japanese. Because structure and not sticking out like the sore thumb and not, going against the grain so much is not the norm. It's not the norm. It's hard to do that. Like even if some individual you probably have friends that tell you things all the time what they want to do, but you're probably looking like why are you not doing it? Like because they haven't built up that courage yet. And I will hope like a lot of people and just even like here as well too build up that courage to say, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Like that makes me happy. And I don't
Hmm.
I don't care how anybody else feel about it. And it's nothing against and like people think like it's something against them or something like that. It's not. It's just that this is what I want to do. And this is gonna make me happy. And this is how I want to go about doing it. So, definitely much respect to you um for not letting that hold you back because I think you agree. I think you would agree with this. Like that will in Japan, that will hold a lot of people back. Like as soon as the disagreement from the parents comes, like, oh, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do that.
I still wish they had supported me sometime,
Of course,
especially yeah, especially when I saw other comedians or actors, whatever, having their parents coming to see their shows or performance.
yeah,
I was like, wow, it never happened to my life. So I
yeah,
wish my parents had behaved like that. But
yeah,
yeah, but it's yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's not discouraging me, you know.
That
It's
yeah,
yeah, it's unfortunate, but anyways, I want to do what I want to do, you know.
that's
So
right.
yeah.
And you're doing well at it. You know, you're doing very well at it. Like much respect. So, on we know that you're in New York now. You're doing your comedy thing, but prior to that, you getting to New York, you
It's not
decided
my
to say, "Hey,
apartment in New York. This is virtual background.
disclaimers,
Yeah.
that is
It's
not her
been
real
so
apartment to be frank.
successful though.
She is
if
not
I
her grand piano."
if I was living in this apartment in New York, it's it's huge success, but not yet.
Yeah, but you are successful. You're doing your thing, like, and just more success is gonna come.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen, and you're
Hmm.
gonna have a grand piano. You're gonna be able to get that and play that there for
Okay.
real. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Affirmation. Yeah. Yeah.
Affirmations. There,
Hmm.
boom. So prior to you getting in New York, you're in Japan. You are a college student, and you have this epiphany, like, man, I want to study abroad. But not only do I want to study abroad, I want to study abroad at a historically black college. Where did that come from?
Mm, that's good question.
Yeah,
Well, you know, it's a little bit while ago.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't remember where I learned about HBCU, honestly. But um, as you said, I was different from the other Japanese girls in at my school, and
Mm,
because of that, so being different in Japan sometimes causes troubles and and sometimes makes lives very hard or
mhm,
interesting, you know.
mhm, mhm,
And I experienced very interesting things when I was 18 to 12, 20 years old, and I was very discouraged with my life, and I was really desperate at the time.
mm,
But
mhm,
but the only thing I really liked was hip hop culture and breakdancing,
oh,
and they led me to study more deeply about the roots. So
mm,
black diaspora, like not only African American, but also African culture and African Brazilian culture, and you know
mm,
everything related to Africa, or the diversity of
mm,
black culture.
mm,
And and maybe while I was reading some books, I got
mm.
to know about HBCU, and actually there are few Japanese people studying abroad at HBCU, and they wrote
Thank
books
y'all.
about it. Sorry.
Thank you. I said, "Thank y'all."
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them is Japanese female TV anchor, ex TV anchor, who married to maybe Navy, working for Norfolk base, or
Mm,
yeah, something like that. So she also described that, but she also wrote about the Southern culture and
wow.
the history of Southern part. And she was not into Black studies like me, but
Mm,
she had a very interesting experience over there,
right.
and by studying there, she got more into the Black studies, or the history, and I was very impressed. And as I said, since when I was a kid, I had wanted to be a comedian and
Yeah.
wanted to learn some theater arts
Mhm.
or performing arts.
Yeah.
And also, I was very curious about Black studies. And in Japan, um, luckily, it was really lucky that I attended a very big college in Japan. So they had few classes about African American culture or history, but
Yeah.
it was very limited. So I also wanted to study about Black studies more and
Yes.
theater arts. So okay, let's go to Black college to study theater arts, and then I can
That's
study both.
awesome.
And I really wanted to experience how um that the students over there or the community
Yeah.
is like. So yeah, that's why I made the choice.
That is and what HBCU did you go to?
Hampton University.
Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up, man.
That's
Shout out
what's
to all
up.
the people in Hampton. If you're listening, thank Ms. Kilara for coming out there to support the university and wanting to be amongst the culture, man. That is just dope as fuck. Excuse my language. That's
Hmm.
that's just dope.
That's dope.
Did you
Yep.
it is though. Did you spend a year there or just a semester?
Um, just a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
and a whole year.
Well,
A whole year.
sorry. Uh, maybe you can cut here correctly. I went to another HBCU before Hampton. So
Really?
one semester, but the first one was
Uh,
a little bit fraudy.
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I got it. I got some friends over there, but as a school, it was a little bit fraudish. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and I didn't want it to go to Howard, but for some uh, application process taking a long time, so that's why I chose to go to Hampton. But um, yeah, they just concluded I studied at HBCU for 1 year. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a compliment in itself as a young, Japanese woman wanting to take that type of leap. Um, that is amazing. And uh, was there some pushback from your mom about that too?
Of course.
Of course. What about
She,
your friend?
my friend,
Yeah.
they got shocked though.
They're
Yeah,
just shocked. Okay.
yeah.
But they supported you.
Well, yeah, but even compared to now, it was before social media, or
Yeah,
it
that's
was
way
the
before social
beginning
media.
time of social media. So,
Mhm.
um, people really didn't know what I was talking about, and
Mm,
also we we all had, including me, we all had some stereotypes about the communities and the kind of cottages too. So we are like,
mhm.
what's gonna happen? Are you really okay? Are you really serious? Yeah. No, nobody knows. Nobody knew what would happen.
Um, but like, look, you went.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure you had a
really
beautiful
enjoy.
experience,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, and everything turned out all right.
Yeah, totally,
So
totally. I had
it's
some
all good.
great friends, and we are still connecting each other. And in both ways, they gave me a lot of. I mean, I was also, uh, as I joked in my stand up, I also had some, um, even stereotypes about cultures and they also even had stereotypes against Japanese people too. So we had the real conversation and the real understanding, and that was precious moment.
Well,
I
yeah.
I never forget that one of the college students over there asked me like, "Hey, Kilara, how many hours does it take to go to China from Tokyo by bus?"
Oh man, like oh man, okay, all right, it's cool. This is well, okay. Disclaimer: this is before heavy Google, uh, heavy social media,
Yeah, it was
and
before social media, and I don't judge him. No,
that of course, and
yeah,
that's good of you. That's good.
yeah. So we got to know each other by talking,
Yeah,
by having
yeah,
conversation, and by doing something together. So it was great. We are totally different. We our backgrounds are totally different, but
mm,
we learn the same thing in the same classes, and we have the same purpose in the project or something, and we can share the ideas from different perspectives, and that was that was totally opening the new door for me.
yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope, man. Like how uh, you know, an African American and a Japanese woman from Japan can find some way to connect. Um, and I think uh, when it does come to Japanese and African Americans, that we do connect in many different areas. Uh, it, it's 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 like really interesting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the uh connection, that we, can make when we sit down and actually talk to each other and get to know each other, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm glad that, at some points that, you know, th- people such as Japanese, such as yourself, will sit down and we have talks and, get to know each other. And, I had a lot of, you know, Japanese friends that I made as well too that will understand my perspective on things like genuinely, but would have to, do what they need to do, like at work and within the society to live, harmoniously and peacefully. And I understood that, but they would truly understand, like if it was someone outside, we were outside of work, like maybe having a
Mm-hmm.
drink or walking to the train station or something like that, and we have conversations, and they would understand, you know, they
Yeah.
understand my difficulties as a foreigner, and they understand those things. So uh I appreciated that,
Yeah, and
and
then
just like you appreciated the brother that you sat down with and I had y'all conversations. You know what I mean?
yeah, yep, right. And also not only about American or African American, but also um LGBTQ
Yes.
communities. At the time in Japan, of course, they should have existed in Japan, but
Yes.
I had never seen them in my life. Maybe
Yes.
they were hidden, or they hid themselves too.
Yeah.
So it was also opening a new door for me.
Mm,
And
mm, mm, mm.
so I learned a lot of things and a lot of aspects of the totally different life, or respect,
Yeah.
and the beauty of culture. And that they really, the students over there are really proud of their own culture and the history. So um it gave me another chance to rethink about my own culture, or my society, or even not only good things but also, well, problems too. No, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's always good points and it's always a good ups and downs, with anything that you deal with. And uh I'm glad that I understand it, and I'm glad that you understand that as well too, and also very vocal about it as a Japanese woman, uh, which is good. And like women such as yourself, uh, are gonna help bring those particular issues like to the forefront, and because of that, hopefully there's like trickle down effects and things begin to change. Like I'm seeing it a lot, like on some of my social media now throughout the news. Like Japanese women are getting into like CEO positions and just positions of power. Uh, I just saw an article pop up on my LinkedIn feed stating that the mayor, I think it's the Tokyo mayor is a woman, and she's out there, advocating for women's rights. Like
Mhm.
that's dope, especially for Japan. Like that
Yes.
women are now getting that. Like how can I say it? Like the idea that they truly understand that I am important. Because like as I'm there, like I've met women is like they just like I feel this obvious is like I don't feel like I'm as important as
Mhm.
the men here.
Yep.
Like like they're not saying it,
Mhm.
but I could feel that. And it was like, and I would tell like, no, you are like you're smart, like you can do whatever you want to do. Like, don't let this, keep you in, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
It's a lot out there.
Yeah, it's
And
your choice, you know? Yeah.
it's your choice, you know?
Yeah.
And um I I and a lot of people will pass it off like, oh, it's a cultural thing. Like I don't think that's not culture. Like that's
Yeah.
like culture is daibutsu. Culture is subtle. Like that's culture. Like women staying subservient and in place and not thinking that they're not as important as the kacho or bucho, like the zacho, because they're a man. That ain't culture. Like
It's a system.
absolutely change. Yeah, it's systematic
Yeah.
oppressiveness, like of because you're a woman and I'm a man and I'm supposed to be here. Japanese, politicians and men here as well too. Just say wild shit like directly on TV about women. Like nobody would bat an eye to that. Like that was always so crazy to me when I was in Japan. Like watching that, I was like he ain't about to apologize about nothing. Like like about nothing. Like and they it's like oh and it was is always some like that particular individual never directly apologized. It's always something on the news like oh so and so said that they're sorry or whatever, but it never comes directly from that person. So, like,
Mhm.
that always
Right.
used to make me just like, "Okay." So, I respect you I respect you even more for doing what it is that you're doing, and
Thank
it's
you
like,
so
it's opening doors, man. Like, I'm liking what I'm seeing, from the outside looking in now of, how Japan is handling these things now. It's dope.
Yeah. And I just had some lectures at the colleges in Japan last
Mhm.
month, and it was I expected it would go a little bit controversial because I'm always fucking sorry, excuse my language, but
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
fucking mad about the system and the patriarchy of Japan. And I came to New York, but still there are so many young, talented, and
Mm,
it didn't have to be young all the time, but they're very talented women over there too, and also children over there. So
mm,
I was like, I really want to share my experience or my thoughts with younger people, but it
mhm,
might get older people in the authority mad
mm,
or
mm.
angry. But I don't give a fuck because I'm a New Yorker now, right?
Yeah, you wanna make some changes,
Yeah.
and
But
it
interestingly, oh sorry, it was
that's all.
very impressive that my lectures went really well, and even the principal of the colleges, of course they are old men in the power, but they really enjoy them too, so they got so
That's good.
impressed. Yeah, so well, my personal experience or my personal feeling, based on my personal experience, I still feel like, oh, Japan is still needs work, and especially got some sexual harassment by Japanese older men, even here in the States. So, and then, you know, it seems they really don't get the knowledge or updated about what's happening, even though I told them what I'm thinking right now, but they really don't get the point of the gender issues. That's why they take it granted to do sexual harassment naturally to me. But so I was like, they still need more work. But I was so happy to see the reaction, and especially for the place of the academic places like colleges, or you know these places are changing toward to the um, how can I say, open-minded and respectful
Yeah,
direction. Yeah, so it was very impressive. Of course, we need more work, but it also encouraged me to speak more, and um, yeah, it was good experience.
and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I saw that some college that yeah, a lot of universities in Japan, since generation is turning and is changing, like they do have some interesting like topics and classes that they're
Hmm.
giving like on like society, work culture,
Hmm.
things like that to study abroad students that come
Hmm.
over there. And that's what's needed, especially if a foreigner who knows absolutely zero about Japan is coming over there to study or maybe potentially work. Like that's needed.
Yeah.
Like,
How do you say that? The young students, when I ask about their like when I ask them what kind of social issues you want to work on,
mm, mm, mm,
um, they were all about the climate change, or
mm,
um, more sustainability, or so they are not so much concerned about human rights or the human.
mm, mm, mm,
That's quite outstanding in Japanese culture, but
mm,
still, um, I made them realize um, the unbalanced things, like why are there no advertisements using middle-aged women, you know something like that. So they got, oh yeah, you're right. So when I was looking at some advertisements on the train this time, I was very
mm,
careful, and the women on the advertisements in Japan are all young, or above 65 or 70 as mother.
Mm,
So the roles of women represented all the advertisements, which we see naturally daily,
mm.
always represents women as young, cute, kawaii woman or
Yeah, still, yeah.
mother, old
Mm,
mother. So
mm.
women in 30s are totally vanished, we are
Yeah.
invisible, So,
Mm.
well, I talked about things like that based on my especially experience accusing an old guy in Japan for his sexual harassment. And but maybe the concept of sexual harassment between American and Japan are a little bit different. So, uh, but anyways, it happens too a lot in the industry, especially. So
Oh, yeah, definitely.
yeah, and
Absolutely. I mean, you can just see it, like, on the variety shows, like, I would just be looking I'm like, "What?" I couldn't process it, like, some of the things that they, like, would let like, they would be talking about,
mm-hmm.
like, you right there, and then, like, the woman just be laughing, I'm just like
Oh yeah,
and I'm okay. And, like, I could see some of the women, like, you could see the uncomfortableness coming out through the smile that they have to put on. I'm like, "Yeah, she's definitely uncomfortable, but she's just riding with it, like, because she has to." Well, she doesn't have to, but based on the standard of what's going on with the show and stuff like that, like, that's like, I'm
yeah.
just like,
The,
"Okay."
so yeah, that was also funny that the uh the same day when um Stephen Colbert announced the next host of his show, late
Mhm,
show.
mhm.
Uh oh, I forgot her name. Tom something Tomlinson. Well, her name is a little bit complicated for me, but
Oh,
very
I've seen her. I don't know her name
successful.
though.
Yeah, young American girl, female comedian around like age of 30. She's
Yeah,
gonna become the next host of the Stephen Colbert show.
yeah.
Yeah. The but the same day, the news in Japan was uh, some Japanese feminists very angry because the comedy contest, which is called R1 or K1, I don't remember which show, but it's
Mm,
kind of comedy, very famous comedy contest TV show, had all women in the audience seat. So because the camera likes to shoot women laughing,
uh,
so in the audience seat there is no guy, no male, only young girls, and they are sitting they are sitting behind the judge, and they just keep laughing. They
mm,
just keep showing smiles on the screen.
mm, mm.
So the you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what
yeah.
you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. It's unfortunate, man, but like I said, changes are coming, and like you're part of that change. So, big ups, you doing what you're doing. Um, yeah, much respect to you, and like staying strong and steadfast on what you stand on. And bringing that to uh these Generation Z, um, Japanese young men and young women, that a lot I believe in this generation are, they're gonna make some changes. Like
Mhm. Yeah,
that's
I believe
coming.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in that. Like that's coming. Like they're
Hmm.
listening, you know. Um like they still respect their culture, they still respect Japan, but they
Hmm.
like, we gotta change some things, man. Like we
Yeah. Yeah.
we need to. Like, well, I'm not saying like, you know, I'm turning my back on my country and doing all that. And that's
Yeah.
what people think. Like
So true.
it's not that.
Yeah.
We just need to make some tweaks. That's all.
Yep. Yep.
That's all we need to do. It like earlier on, like you do something like you turning your back on the flag. Like, no, I just want to talk about this and a little bit of a difference in
Mhm.
opinion. See if we
Yeah.
can make some changes together to make this a little bit more, unified and harmonious.
Yeah. Do you think about the future?
They
Do you
are. And
care about the future? That's why they're
yep,
doing that, right? That's
yeah,
why
I
I'm
love
talking
it.
about too. Yeah.
I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm proud of you and all that. But just to shift gears real quick, back to your comedy. Like I'm
Hmm.
very curious about like how was your first ever comedic gig in English? Like take me through that because with with comedy, like that's a whole different level. Like
Hmm.
you gotta how can I say? Not only do you like need to go up there with some vocabulary, but you have to you have to feel like you have to understand like so much. Like I feel like you have to understand so much more on a much more deeper level to be a non-native speaker and to go up there and make people laugh in a language that's not yours. Like I think that is damn like that's courageous. Like that's dope. Like that's very very just vulnerable. Like you're very vulnerable to do that. You know? Like I speak good Japanese, but I don't think I speak it like I don't have the how can I say? I just abstractness or the capacity in my mind to like understand like okay, how am I gonna go up there and make them laugh and while I'm speaking Japanese?
Mm.
Like I'm not tell you right now, like I wouldn't have the confidence to do that. Like now I make people laugh just sitting down, like, you know, if I was having a drink or something like that, but that ain't stand-up comedy in Japan, you know what I'm saying? So like take me through that. Like how did you feel? What was going through your mind? How did it go? I
Uh,
want to know.
okay. The very, 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 very first time uh went horrible. I
Mhm.
bombed. I bombed, of course. The very, 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 very first time in Tokyo. I just translated what I did in Japanese style comedy,
Mhm.
and also my English was not good.
Mm, mm,
Even worse than now.
mm.
Even I didn't know what I was talking. So what the hell am I telling? You know. So it was horrible. But after seeing some, stand-up comedy or some other comics over there, I was like, oh, okay, this is how they're gonna do it. How I should do it. And like 1 year later, I came to the States and
Mhm,
I performed at New York Comedy Club in
mhm,
New York.
mhm.
That was kind of an American debut for me. And it went very, very well,
That's awesome.
unexpectedly. And honestly, I
Mm,
was not so much afraid of the language barrier. I should
mm,
have. I should have though. Now I would advise me 10 years ago.
yeah.
You have to learn English more. But at the time I was dumbass and fearless. So I I was not so much caring about the language barrier, and maybe because um even in Japanese, my twist on my humor is very linguistic,
Yeah.
or you know, it was not about surprising looks or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
I also, of course, I was Japanese female comedian. I needed to be ugly, so I painted my face or wearing some weird clothes or something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
still, my humor base is more linguistic or how do you call it, like uh, structure, having
Mhm.
structure. So I just try to mix the humor as a Japanese comedian into American style.
Mm.
And luckily that made me very unique at the time. So
Good.
yeah, so first few years I just did what I can do, what I could do
Yes.
at the time. But after that I started learning more about other comics or um, the techniques, and then now I think my style is more Americanized now, and sometimes I feel it is necessary to study a Japanese comedy to how can I say, to remember my roots, or
Oh.
um, yeah, to be unique.
Mm.
But now my way of thinking or my ideas are more American style or British, anyways, Western style now. Yeah.
Quick
And
question:
yeah,
who's your most favorite? Who is your favorite, most favorite uh
mm,
American comedian?
that's very difficult question. But you
That
said
is.
American. Okay.
Yes.
um the most inspiring was Richard Pryor. Yeah.
I didn't expect you to say that, to be honest.
I
Yeah, Pryor's that dude, man.
I saw him during d- um sorry, I saw his performance during Black Studies, as a part of studying,
Oh
uh
yeah, definitely.
yeah, and then I was like, wow, that's so, how can I say, very evoking, or you know
Yeah.
um and then wow, they have this kind of a comedy in the States. That's so interesting and impressive. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, I can't choose one one comedian though. But I also do some hosting job, or I also do hosting gigs too. So as a host, uh I always study Ellen DeGeneres' style and Trevor Noah. Their hosting skills
Extra.
are very,
Yeah.
very good. And
Mm, mm.
also I love Wanda Sykes.
Yeah, Wanda's dope.
Yeah, Wanda is dope. So maybe
Yeah.
comedy, for pure comedy, maybe Wanda Sykes is most influential. But
Mm.
also she's not from America, but Hannah Gatsby. I think she's from Australia or New Zealand, and who won Emmy Award a few years ago. Uh, but I loved her, and I also have a few Asian female comedians, up and coming comedians recently, but I I can't remember their names. So
That's not, look, you shout
I
them
know
out.
their face,
Find out
but
the you'll find out the names later. That's okay. But
yeah,
yeah, Richard Pryor, I mean, he's extremely vulnerable, just in the case that
yeah,
like, at the time, people probably didn't know he was, like, a lot of the things he said was, like, really true, like, about what
yeah,
was
yeah,
going on, so he took his pain and
yeah.
put it out there for people
Yes,
to give them
yeah.
joy.
and he talks about his grandma, right? And I also talk about my mom and as Godzilla, So,
Yeah.
but it gave me like permission to talk about anything or talk about your pain. And cool. That makes me free. That makes me feel freedom. So maybe he was the biggest inspiration for me.
I mean, comedy is a big, yeah, like I said, a good outlet for that stuff, and to like to take those points in your life and to transform them into something funny and
Yeah.
joyous for other people, and then also, help you internalize it as something funny. Like, ooh, that was back in the day, but you know what? Now that I look back on and I got through it, that's funny. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was my okay? Um, so the last question that will take that I would like you to answer is this: Is New York the last stop? Is this where Kilara is going? I know it's kind of early to call. Like, you only been there for about 2 years. Like, I didn't even know, like, 2 years after I was in Japan, like, how long I was gonna be there. Like, I had the intention, like, when I went to Japan, like, "Oh, Imma be here forever," and then, like, I think a lot of people do that when they move to a new place probably. But over time, like, it was teetering, teetering, teetering,
Mm-hmm.
teetering. But right now, like, what is it for you? Like, are you gonna reside in the States indefinitely? Uh, is going back to Japan and living there an option for you? What is it?
That's great, Christian. So I want to live in New York as long as possible.
Mm.
Maybe until I can't climb up the stairs of the subway station anymore, even if they don't have escalator or elevator at the time. So yeah, in the future, when my knees get too weak to get upstairs, New York subway, maybe I'm gonna move to West Coast.
Oh, okay, so to the West Coast. Okay, alright,
Yeah,
alright.
maybe. Yeah. But I really want to live in the States
Okay.
entire of my life. But maybe the late time of my life, like after 50, 55, 60, I want to have a second house in Japan in
Yeah, there's
local
nothing wrong with
area.
that.
Yeah,
There's
like
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, especially countryside. I love the nature of Japan and the
Oh, it's
scenery,
beautiful.
right? The, it's so beautiful. So especially when I came back to Japan this time, I knew Tokyo is the most convenient to access everywhere
Yeah,
including my work. But
yeah.
oh my god, I live in New York. Like living in Tokyo is, well, it's just a cleaner, smaller version of New York without
Yeah,
rats.
a lot of people say that.
Yeah. So maybe I need a little bit more silence. And then that's why I decided to stay in Yokohama. It's also city, but a little bit. If Tokyo is tense, the score of Tokyo as a city is 10, maybe Yokohama will be like 8 or 7, right? Like a level 7 city. So that's why I stayed in Yokohama.
Yeah, that's where I lived. I loved Yokohama.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Which part?
I stayed in Ishikawa-cho.
Oh, boozy place. Bougie
But I
place.
didn't live in the bougie area, like, don't get Look,
Well,
it is
yeah,
you are
guys, live in
absolutely
very
right.
busy area.
You
Well,
no doubt about it. That
well,
if
honestly, I'm
anybody
exaggerating though, but it's really nice place,
is yeah, I love I it, like
fancy
the
place.
yeah, it was like mad convenient. Chinatown's right there. Like
Yeah,
I love that whole area, like
yeah,
Kanai, Ishikawa-cho, Yokohama, Sakurigicho. Like,
and there are so many nightclubs over there.
yeah, 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 it is. It is. It is a lot.
That's where I started hanging out at nightclubs at
Oh,
age
really?
of 16 or 17. Yeah,
Good.
with a fake ID. Oops,
What a-
oops.
oh my goodness. But yeah, Yokohama, dope area. If anybody goes to Japan, make sure you
Yep,
go to Yokohama.
that's my home too. Yeah,
Where in Yokohama?
it's we call our hometown Staten Island of Yokohama.
Wait, let
Staten,
me think of what that could be. What line? Okay, don't tell
yeah,
me
Staten Island.
what
Yeah.
train. What train line is it on?
Well, Tokaido line,
Hokkaido.
but train is not enough. We
Eh?
have to take buses like for about 40 minutes from the nearest station.
What? So Tokaido line, I'm gonna say you probably get off at no. You probably get off at damn, what's that big station?
No, it's not big station.
Totsuka. Totsuka. You get off at
Oh,
Totsuka?
yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, from Totsuka we have to take bus for 40 minutes. And there used to be an amusement park which is called Dreamland. Now it's become a graveyard. So we always joke like, so, but actually this area has a lot of famous rappers. Yeah, so my I have some friends over there, and they have studio of their own in the area, and I just reunited with them during stay this time. But they always joke about Dreamland as Dream Staten Island. So it's not, it's Yokohama, but it's not Manhattan. It's not Queens. It's Staten Island. You have to take ferry.
Yeah, they very overdo it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yokohama is stretched pretty far. Yeah, Totsuka ne.
Yeah.
But um dope. Kilara wants to stay in the States, man. And with like I said, with your personality and what it is that you're aiming and seeking to do, you're in the right place to do it. And I got big respect on you
Thank
coming
you.
out here, holding it down and doing it and laying your roots and doing it on your own and creating networks and doing things like that. And you just getting better. Like I just I see from your social media, like you getting out there, getting to it. And that's what it's about, man.
Thank you so
Uh
much. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it's about, man. Yeah, keep doing your thing. I'll continue to, of course, follow you, like and laugh and comment, etc. and so on. You know,
Thank you
keep
so
doing
much.
your thing. You're definitely being you. I love it. And yeah, man, be a part of the custom
You
kit.
are, yeah, you are a part of the things which I really like about America. You know, who are so heartful, respectful, and supporting, encouraging, and motivational. That's you are the American who I really, really, um, who I really impressed every day. So that's why I
And I'm
really want to
trying to
be here. Yeah,
I appreciate that. And I'm trying to be more of that. That's why I took down the old pod. Like, cause I was look, this is what I like. I was bitter. And you like you if you got a chance to listen to my old podcast, like when I was in Japan, like I was super bitter, man. And I did not like that me. that was not me, and I was so upset with that, Ashley.
Hmm.
Like for real. Like I was horrible. Like and I honestly say that, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But that now, like I said, I'm much more self-aware and I reflected on a lot of that. And like I said, now I'm much more grounded and back to me and making sure that I am like all those things that you said. And that was the intention of this making this platform, but my delivery was not good. Like it wasn't good.
Your delivery is killing.
Well, now I feel it. Thank you. I'm gonna take that. But I think before it was not.
Mm.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was negative.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
Well, it
negative.
happens. That's life. That's the growth of a human being, right?
And we growing. We're growing like just straight up.
Uh,
You know what
you can expand
I'm
too. I'm growing too.
Yes, you are.
I live in the States for 2 years. I'm growing.
Yeah, watch the food. Watch the food. Yeah, but you getting your steps in. You getting your steps in New York, so that's good. You ain't in no place where you got to drive, so
Mm.
you get to do a lot of moving. Kirara, thank you so much
Thank
again
you
for
so much. ありが
mm,
と
こちらこそ本当に like for coming back again and rescheduling and do another interview. I really, really, really do
I
appreciate you.
love
Like,
doing
mm,
this.
yeah,
I really appreciate.
I love that you came back. All right, I love that. So, drop your socials.
Yep.
If you have anything coming up, go ahead and drop it right now.
When will it be posted? Do you have any specific date to post this episode?
Uh, I'm gonna shit. Uh, I might post it by tomorrow evening.
Oh
Like
wow!
so, like from now to yeah, I can get
Ooh, that
the audio up quick. Like I'm gonna get the YouTube up too. Like I'm definitely getting this YouTube up. That I don't know, but the audio within 24 hours.
okay. So I please follow my social media for first of all. Please follow my social media, Kilara Comedy, and uh, recently I'm active on Instagram most. So Kilara Comedy, Kilara Comedy, and I've been editing a lot of stuff which I filmed in Japan right now. And of
Mm.
course, I'm gonna post some lectures which I had in Japan too. So please look forward to my future posts. And I gotta go to some colleges this month, Black History Month.
Mm.
I gotta go to SUNY, State University of New York,
Okay.
on 17th in Canton, New York, and on 19th, uh, Ohio State University. So if ever you are the students over there, just come see my show. And of course, upcoming shows. I'm gonna post about upcoming shows. So please, put your eyes on my social media, Kilara Comedy, and stay connected. Thank you.
Everybody, get out there, get on your phones, follow Kirara. She's dope.
Yes, I'm dope.
Japanese woman doing American comedy in New York City. It don't get no better than that. It don't get no more motivational than that. So if you sitting around and you trying to get the motivation to do what it is that you said you were going to do months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, she's standing up in front of people giving comedy in a language that's not hers. If that's not motivating, I don't know what is. but it's motivating for me to be better. Always motivating for you to be better. And that's that, man. So
That's what's up.
that's what's up. With that being said, wherever you at in the world, morning, noon, and night, y'all, remember to always be you. And we are out of here. Thank you, Kilara. Much love.
Thank you, Ashley. Peace.
Peace. Oh man, you're dope.